And take a look behind me. You can see investigators now photographing the scene. There are a couple, several, I should say, evidence markers in the middle of Allegheny Road. We're just off Shell Road here. Police say a man and a woman killed in this situation. I actually did speak to a man off camera just a couple of minutes ago, and he told me his cousin is the woman killed. Of course, he, just like us, are trying to figure out more information, get some more details in this case.
42-year-old Benita Mozelle, affectionately known as Nene to family and friends, was a loving, positive, upbeat, and joyful woman who had a heart of gold, always there to lend a helping hand to others. She had an unconditional love for her family and friends, and just loved people in general. Her smile was contagious, and her spirit was equally as beautiful. She would never say goodbye without saying "I love you" afterwards. One of her most famous quotes was, "I may not have a lot to give, but I have a lot of love." Just after 1 a.m. on May 16th, Hampton police responded to the 400 block of Allegheny Road in Hampton's Wythe neighborhood for reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, they would find an unresponsive adult female and adult male in the street, both suffering from gunshot wounds.
This is nothing new.
Police tape blocked off a section of Allegheny Road in Hampton for more than 8 hours Tuesday. Hampton police responded to the street near Shell Road just after 1 a.m. Officers found 2 people shot in the street. They say Hampton Fire and Rescue pronounced a man and woman dead at the scene. A woman who did not want to be identified says she got off the bus nearby and heard that argument around 11:30 Monday night.
And I came up Seminole, and I could hear the arguing. Everybody could hear it. And it was just too much.
Then she heard gunshots.
I seen the bullet, one come by here, and you could see the fire off of it.
She says as she approached Allegheny Road, she saw several people in the middle of the road.
So when I got down here, there was a guy sitting in the middle of the street crying, and the lady was crying, and the kids were crying.
And this marks 20 homicides so far this year in Hampton, according to our records. Now that's compared to 24 homicides for all of last year.
The victims were identified as 26-year-old Troy James of Newport News, Virginia, and 42-year-old Benita Mozelle of Hampton, Virginia, who were both sadly pronounced dead at the scene by Hampton Fire and Rescue. About a dozen evidence markers could be seen on the ground as investigators processed the scene. Detectives even searched a home on the street and canvassed the area to speak with neighbors. Authorities did not immediately provide details about the relationship between the 2 victims. They say the preliminary investigation reveals that a verbal altercation occurred, then escalated into a physical altercation between someone both victims were familiar with. At some point, Benita tried to stop the fight. During the altercation, the suspect discharged a firearm, resulting in both Benita and Troy being struck.
In the neighborhood, it's fairly quiet right now, but we do know that a man and a woman had their last moments here on the street behind me.
I woke up at like 1-ish, just to the sound of gunshots, and unfortunately, with living in this area, it's a common occurrence.
Hampton police say it started with an argument, which turned into a shooting and ended with a man and woman dying at the scene. Last year, 24 people were killed in Hampton, according to police. This year, 20 have been killed, and we're only in May.
I have small children, so to have it happen so close to our house was definitely a little sketchy.
This neighbor, who didn't want to be identified, said police came to her door shortly after the shooting. I did notice quite a few doorbell cameras in the area, and she said investigators are asking if they captured any video of people or cars that could help them piece together what happened. At this time, they've not made any arrests.
We're just lucky that it was contained. As much as it's a sad situation, that it wasn't any rogue bullets that could have come and hit our house or hit a person that could have been walking by.
Another neighbor told me she was walking from a nearby bus stop and heard the shots.
The community of Hampton was grieving as more than 100 of Benita's family and friends gathered at Darling Stadium to say goodbye. They are still left with many questions, with the main one being, how did Benita end up in the middle of gunfire? A circle of prayer, healing, and love was formed as Benita's friends stood side by side with pink, red, black, and white balloons. Both family and friends pleaded with the community to stop the senseless violence and asked that anyone with information leading to justice for both victims come forward. They say Benita's legacy will forever live on, reminding them to always show love unconditionally.
While tonight's vigil honored the life of a mother, daughter, sister, and friend, it also highlighted the epidemic that is gun violence. A circle of prayer, healing, and love.
If love was a person, it would be my mom.
As friends and family members of 42-year-old Benita Mozelle honored her memory, many with pink, black, white, and red balloons. Mozelle was fatally shot early Tuesday morning after what police say was an altercation with someone she knew. 26-year-old Troy James also lost his life. Hampton police are still searching for the suspect.
We lost a queen, a goddess, to a coward.
Mozelle's daughters, sister, and cousin stood side by side at the Circle Center, asking for an end to senseless violence and for those in the community to be role models for Hampton's youth.
Listen to these kids. They telling y'all what they want. They need guidance. We stop guiding these children.
As of right now, Hampton police have not provided any additional information regarding a suspect or motive and are encouraging anyone with information to come forward. The case remains ongoing.